Hello and welcome back to my stamp studio. I'm here today with another holiday class to go card kit. I'm using the Dove of Hope bundle from page 13 of the holiday mini catalog. When I started creating with this set, I of course was thinking Christmas, but I soon realized that this bundle could easily be used to create gorgeous sympathy, thinking of you, wedding cards, and I also like it for breast cancer awareness. So you receive two beautiful dove stamps in this set. There's a nice ornament on a string, a nice little sprig here. There's an individual little snowflake. And then the sentiments with this set are peace on earth, peace, joy, love. May your season be filled with all the wonder and blessings of Christmas and hope in your heart. Okay, it's a set of 9. It is a cling mounted stamp set. Now, this stamp set bundles with the Dove dies. The 2 dies here coordinate with the 2 stamped Dove images. And then the next 4 dies here create a beautiful paper dove. They don't only cut, but they also provide you with a little bit of an embossed look for a very detailed look as well. There's a die that coordinates with the ornament, and there's a die that coordinates with the sprig. And then they give you some additional ornamental sprigs here, and this has some little circle berries that you can use throughout to layer on your sprig. So it's a beautiful die set to round out this bundle, Dove of Hope. Now let me show you my Class to Go card kits for this bundle. Here's the first one. And here is the second one. So they're very different. One is very bold, dark, and then one is a little bit softer, more of a pastel look. I have decorated the envelopes, as you can see. I've used for the holidays some shiny embossing. This one is just a little more plain and simple with black and white though, okay? But obviously 2 different looks, very versatile bundle of products. Wondering how you can get my Class to Go card kit for free and what's included? You simply need to purchase the Dove of Hope bundle for $49.50. No other purchase is necessary. With the purchase of the bundle, you will receive my free Class to Go card kit, which includes supplies needed to create 4 cards with envelopes. That's 2 of each of these cards. You would receive enough pre-cut, scored cardstock and papers, embellishments, ribbons, and an envelope to complete the kit cards. Now, because everyone has different stamp stashes, you may not have some of the products I'm using on these kit cards. So I offer many additional products in what I call an add-on list. You can receive a 10% discount on these add-on items with the purchase of my Class to Go card kit. Sorry. I will do my best to mention these add-on items in my video today, but they are also listed with this post. It's important to point out here though that the 10% discount will only be available when you send me your order. I must place it for you. It's the only way I can give you the discount, okay? I do need to charge a $4 postage fee, which covers my mailing of the card kit to you. Your Stampin' Up! Products will be shipped directly to you from Stampin' Up! Once you have all your stamping supplies, you're ready to simply sit and stamp with this video as your guide. The kit does all the creativity for you, and you get to stamp in the comfort and safety of your home. If you're interested in ordering my Dove of Hope Class to Go card kit, contact me via email or message me on Facebook when you're ready to place your order. You will find all the details in this post along with the ordering dates. Please let me know if you have any questions. Also, as I previously stated in videos, with the pandemic, I'm unable to hold in-person holiday classes safely, but still want to give all of you a chance to create handmade cards this year. I encourage all of you to spend some quiet, relaxing days creating and stamping. I know that if it were not for my passion for this hobby, I would be struggling to get through. Please social distance and wear a mask. Our community and nationwide numbers are going up, and hospital ICUs are at capacity, trying to figure out how to best use resources. In some cases, who gets a ventilator. It's that serious again. Please be a responsible citizen and make responsible decisions. Okay, lately I feel I've put a public plea in every video I've made. It's just really hard as an ICU nurse who is in a COVID unit, seeing the sickest of the sick every day, not to share my perspective. So, with that said, in the spirit of wanting all of you to have hand-stamped holiday cards to send out to family and friends this year, I have been offering to-go packets of 6 cards for $12 of your chosen card design. So you will have plenty of cards to send out. A to-go packet has all the supplies of the Class to Go kit. All the pre-cut scored cardstock and papers, embellishments, ribbons, and an envelope to create 6 cards for an additional $12. I do need to charge additional postage for those who do not live locally in the Iowa City area. Okay, again, if you have any questions about any of that, please let me know. All right, so let's get started. I think I'm going to start with this card today. So when you receive your kit, your supplies will look like this, okay? Our card base here is a Mossy Meadow card base that measures 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored down the middle at 4.25. So go ahead, take a bone folder and give yourself a nice crisp fold there. You will also have 2 pieces of very vanilla cardstock that measure 4 by 5.25. One of these is going to be your inside piece, and I've gone ahead and gold embossed the sentiment from the stamp set, "May your season be filled with all the wonder and blessings of Christmas." Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and take my Stampin' Seal and give myself 2 little ribbons down each side of that and place that on the inside of my card. That just gets centered top to bottom, side to side. Okay? Now the next piece that we're going to deal with is the other piece of very vanilla that measures 4 by 5.25. Okay? And you're going to be stamping on this piece. I've already done some of the stamping here for us just to save time. The Peace on Earth stamp that comes in this set can be stamped down in the right-hand corner of your piece of very vanilla. You want to try and get it down as close to the bottom edge here, but over just a little bit as you stamp and position that there. Then you're going to stamp the ornament that comes from this stamp set up here towards the right-hand corner. Again, being careful not to get too close to the edge because we're going to use a die to be able to cut that one out, okay? The remainder of this very vanilla here, we're going to use those dove dies to create that beautiful paper dove, okay? So, before I get started with those and how you place those on there, I'm going to take and punch out my Peace on Earth. And I'm going to use my 2-inch handheld circle punch here. This would be an additional add-on item. If you don't already have it, a 2-inch is actually, I think, a necessity to any stamper's stash. It is just a great size for many things. So that will be an additional add-on item. So you'll go ahead and punch out your Peace on Earth, and then we're just going to set that aside to use it later, okay? Now next I'm going to pull in my cutting plate from my Stampin' Up die cut and emboss machine. And I'm going to pull out my dies. We're going to use that little ornament die. We are also going to use those 4 dies I pointed out that create that beautiful paper dove. There's a solid wing, one that cuts out a wing, and then the body of the dove. One other die that we need is this smaller one here. And this one you're going to use to cut out for a tail. And in your packet, you will have just a small piece of the gold brushed metallic cardstock. Absolutely love this paper. It just has that beautiful brush look so that it's not so shimmery shiny, and I think it actually is more elegant looking. And that's the piece that you're going to use with your little dovetail here, okay? The brushed copper, gold, metallic papers are in the Holiday Mini Catalog, and those will be included as add-on items with this bundle, okay? So you're just going to kind of play around with these dove dies until you get them so they should all easily fit on there. Line up your ornament die there and also your dovetail like I've done. And now bear with me. I'm going to take this over to my Stampin' die cut and emboss machine and run it through. My dovetail die went flying. That's what you wonder what that was. But that gave me that beautiful little tail that we're going to use at the end of our dove. I'm going to take my dies here and get them off on the side so I don't lose any of them. And these are the pieces that you're going to end up with. See how they just fall right out? We are going to have the body, a solid wing, and then a cutout wing, and all those little pieces just fall out of there perfectly. You're going to have your little ornament, and then here's our little gold dovetail, okay? Now, the next pieces that we're going to need, you're going to be given a piece of Mossy Meadow scrap in your kit, and I'm going to take my 2-inch handheld punch again, and towards one end, to the very far end, I'm going to give myself one punch. And then I'm going to grab the 2.5-inch handheld punch. And again, this will be a punch included in this kit. And you're going to take the other end and have enough to punch out and give yourself a little bit larger Mossy Meadow circle. Okay? These two obviously work well together. 2-inch, 2.5, 2.25, inch, and they stack and layer really well. So if you don't have either one of those, like I said, they are a great addition to a stamp stash. Excuse me. So you will also have a piece of this brushed gold metallic cardstock here that measures 5.5 by 3 across. Okay, and it's gorgeous just by itself, but it's even more beautiful run through an embossing folder. And this time I opted to use the Parisian Flourish 3D embossing folder. So you see that it has a yellow sticky on it, so it requires that embossing plate. And your end result is absolutely gorgeous right here, okay? I am in love with this paper and running it through an embossing folder. So elegant and fancy, isn't it? Okay, so we're going to take that piece and we're going to apply some multi-purpose glue to the back side. If you wanted to use some dimensionals, you surely could. I'm going to use dimensionals on the dove, so I really want that to stand out too. So I opt to put down my layering pieces with multi-purpose glue. Now, to make sure that I have this centered and make sure that it's flush along one edge, just going to run my finger across the top there just to make sure. And remember, you have a few minutes with the multi-purpose glue that you can shift and move things around if you need to. Now this piece looks like it's cut just a little bit bigger than 5.5. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to flip this over and I'm just going to trim off that extra little edge here, okay? So that it's flush with the bottom of my card. Okay, right there like that. All right, now we're ready for our next layer here, making sure that that's all pressed and holding nicely. We're going to go with our 2 1/4, that's the larger circle die, and I'm going to take some multi-purpose glue on the back side of it to attach, and that's going to get attached just a little below half, and it's going to be right up against the edge there of that beautiful gold brushed metallic paper. Now I'm trying to attach this to something that has a texture to it, so really take some time and rub that circle and make sure that it's going to stick and adhere. Okay, just like that. Now we can take our piece on earth and apply just a light amount of multi-purpose glue. Remember, with the Very Vanilla and Whisper White papers, you can sometimes get the multi-purpose glue, the ribbons of it kind of showing through. So I don't really have another choice to use any other glue. I could use a dimensional maybe, but I really wanted it to be flush on top of my gold. So I put just a little bit of light glue behind there, so there's no chance of seeing any ribbon glue streaks across that. But I really want that to be attached nicely over that gold. And notice again, I'm just rubbing it and rubbing it, making sure that it's sticking nicely against all that texture. Okay? All right. Now, I'm going to throw in something that I just thought was beautiful. It was on my sample card, and it is this beautiful stamp of the earth. And I just thought that this was a beautiful addition to this card. Now, I think it's optional for this card, though. You really could get by without using that. So I'm not including this stamp set as part of the bundle for the Class to Go kit, but I'm including a optional, I guess I should say, stamp set. It's Beautiful World with the world globes here. This is a nice set. It has all kinds of great sentiments in it. It's a set of 13. It's a cling stamp set. So if you were interested in picking this up for this project, you certainly could, okay? And let me show you. I went ahead and used that, and I gold embossed it, and I just think that it's perfect for this project. So I am going to throw it in here, and like I said, that stamp set will be an optional add-on item down below if you wanted to pick it up at a 10% discount, okay? Now I'm going to take the globe, and I'm going to layer it onto that 2-inch Mossy Meadow circle cutout there. And again, take some more multi-purpose glue. And this one I'm going to sneak a little bit under my 2 1/4 inch circle, and it's going to get placed right up here towards the top. Okay. Again, I'm going to take some time rubbing that to make sure that that's sticking onto that texture. Okay. All right, now let's build our beautiful dove. So to build the dove, first I want to attach my gold brushed metallic piece here, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there, and it just gets placed right there, the tail on the body one, and that's all you want is just that little bit of glue right there that's holding it. Okay, I don't want to put glue all over this because I don't want any glue to show through on that cutout. Okay, isn't that beautiful on there like that? All right, the next thing I want to do is on this project, I'm going to attach the solid wing here first because I kind of really want to see exactly where that wing is going to land. I'm going to try and place it up here towards the top of my 2 1/4 inch circle cutout, and it might even kind of cover up some of that globe just a little bit, but I want it nice and high here, okay? Now notice the only place I want it to stick is here on my 2 1/4 inch circle cutout. So I'm only going to place glue down here at the base of the wing, okay? This part will just hang off. If you wanted to have a little dimensional back behind there, you certainly could. All right, the next piece I want to attach is the dove's body, okay? And I'm just going to kind of hold it here and play with it a little bit just to see exactly where it's going to go. I want the head to kind of hang out over this way so there's plenty of room for my ornament to hang. So kind of keep that in mind as you go to attach that. Just like that, okay? All right, you could even come down just a little bit more with him. There we go. All right, so as soon as you figure out kind of where things are going to lie, you can go ahead, and I actually placed just one dimensional on the back side of the dove. It's really all he needs. Again, I'm just going to use that ornament over here kind of as my guide where his beak goes, and then that will determine where the rest of his body lays here, okay? Just like that. All right, now this cutout die is just going to get placed right here on top, okay? Isn't that gorgeous? And this I want to attach more than just a little bit of glue here. I'm going to put a small dimensional behind there, and I'm going to add just a little bit of adhesive of my multi-purpose glue there, okay? And use both then to be able to attach this wing, just so it holds a little better. Okay, so just like that. And then go ahead and place that on here. And I like the wings to stagger a little so you can see both of them. Okay, just like that. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. Now, the ornament we're going to place with a large dimensional. I know that seems a little overkill, but I think it helps hold a little bit better than a mini can, especially since we're going to lay it on all this texture of the brushed metallic paper. And go ahead and just line up that string there with his beak, just like that. Okay. And then I thought this needed just a little bit something, all right? So I'm pulling in some of our gold shimmer ribbon. This is a newer ribbon, and it also comes in gray granite, and I've used that on a lot of projects, and I bought the gold with the idea of using it on Christmas cards, and I just think it looks gorgeous and beautiful with this card and also these metallic papers. So I just give you a small piece in your kit. That's all you need just to tie yourself a little knot. Go ahead and trim off your ends here, just like that. And then you're going to use a glue dot right there, and it's going to get placed right at the top of the ornament. Now, if you feel like you need something to hold that string of the ornament just a little bit better, of course you know you can always use a glue dot, but it's a little small for a glue dot. So sometimes what I've been doing with all these small things lately is taking a little bit of my multi-purpose glue on the end of my paper piercer, and I just gently go underneath and rub a little bit of that on the back side of that cardstock that I'm trying to stick. And it's just enough. It's not too much glue, but it's just enough to be able to hold that, all right? And then obviously you want to take the tip of your paper piercer tool and clean that off, all right? You don't want it to be on there for the next time you go to use it, okay? All right. Now, I am noticing that the dove's head is just kind of bobbing here a little bit, so I am going to go ahead and take a mini dimensional, and let me show you another trick. So sometimes when I use these to try and sneak them underneath a layer, I'm going to go ahead and peel off the sticker part to that mini dimensional. I'm going to grab it from the side with my paper piercer tool. Whoops, I stuck to my finger instead, but that's all right. It'll work here. And then you can use that basically as your little tool to reach in and be able to place that exactly where you want it, okay? And that's going to help hold his head just a little bit better, so, okay? But there's a little trick for you. If you ever find something that isn't sticking like you want it to, you can use your paper piercer tool in different ways, okay? Now, it needs a little bling yet. I think this is gorgeous like this, but the eye of that dove is bothering me. I need something on it. So I pulled in these beautiful champagne rhinestone jewels that Stampin' UP has that I think coordinate beautifully with this gold paper. I'm going to pull in my pick-a tool again. I'm going to use the gummy end of it and come over here and just pick one of those rhinestones up. And first I'm going to place it right up here for the dove's eye, which I think is stunning. And then I thought it needed just a couple more, so I went ahead and I placed 3 of them right down here on the ornament. So your kit will also have some champagne rhinestones, which are just beautiful. If you haven't gotten these yet and seen these in person, they are absolutely gorgeous rhinestones, okay? All right, so that is my first card to go with the Dove of Hope stamp set. Okay, so there's the first one. Now let's get started on the second one. Just to remind you, here is the second one. I did just a little bit different fold. We have done this in the past on some holiday card classes, and I always just try to step it up a little bit at holiday times because we all want to create a beautiful card. This is a card where the bottom section is not attached to the top here, and this centerpiece is what holds them in place, okay? And I thought that this just turned out really pretty with this set, all right? So let's get started. And let me show you how you do this. So your card kit, when it arrives, will have these pieces here. You have a piece of Pool Party cardstock, and it is basically 4 1/4, and I want to say this is 7 1/2. I'm not sure. Don't quote. I don't know about that for sure. But your score line is definitely at 5 1/2. Okay, and then you fold this over, and you're going to give yourself a nice crease line on that fold. And let's just measure this, 3 inches here. So it would be a total of 7 1/2. Yep, 7 1/2 then, okay? Scored at 5 1/2. All right, so that's going to be your card base. You're also going to have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White, and this is the piece that's going to go on your inside. And I went ahead and again stamped that sentiment. May your season be filled with all the wonder and blessings of Christmas for the inside. If you want to use a different sentiment, you're welcome to. The only thing I'm going to suggest when you stamp your sentiment on your inside piece is that you place it towards the top of your Whisper White piece here. You want to make sure that it's hidden underneath this panel, this 3-inch panel here, okay? That's my tip. All right, in addition to your card base, you will also have some other pieces here. You'll have a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock, okay? And in addition to this class as an add-on item, I'm adding the stitched shaped framelits die. And I have been using these a lot lately, okay? I think these are, I grab these, they are go-to all the time. Squares, ovals, and circles. And what I did was take the larger circle die and punched out the ultra thick Whisper White cardstock with the largest circle stitched die, okay? So I've already done that. I'm going to go ahead and pop that out. And those dies would be an additional item to this Class to Go kit at 10% off, okay? Then you have another piece of just regular Whisper White cardstock, and this is going to be your stamp piece, okay? So I'm going to pull in my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm going to pull in the twig stamp, the little bit smaller dove that's carrying the twig, and then the Peace, Joy, Love stamp. And I'm just going to ink all these up. I do need to work kind of quick because Memento ink, remember, is one that dries fairly quickly. But I just did that to save time. We're going to go ahead, stamp the dove, stamp the twig, and then along a bottom edge, as close as you can to the bottom edge, you're going to stamp the Peace, Joy, and Love stamp. Okay? Give that a little chance to dry there. Now, if you remember right, there are dies that cut out the dove and the branch, okay? But before we do that, I'm going to bring in my paper trimmer, and I'm going to trim off my sentiment here, okay? And it ends up being just a little less than 3/4 of an inch is where you want to trim that, okay? That's going to end up being our sentiment now on our card, okay? And then these two you would take over to your Stampin' Up! Die cut and emboss machine and use the coordinating dies to punch those out, okay? And let me show you, I already have those. And I actually have another sentiment die there too. In addition, you're going to want to take that branch or that little garland, whatever you want to call that. And you received another piece of gold brushed metallic paper, and you're going to punch that out from that piece. Okay. You also have another scrap piece of Pool Party cardstock, and I did take that and punch it out with the, I want to make sure I get the right size here, the 2¼ inch circle punch. Again, an add-on item to this class, used in both projects, okay? And that I took and ran through the Flourish 3D folder, okay? And just gave it a pretty little pattern to that, okay? Again, that folder would be an add-on item to this class, and you could use it with both projects, all right? So now we're going to continue, and we're going to build our little circle here, okay? So I'm going to take my little Pool Party textured piece now, put a little bit of multi-purpose glue back behind, and go ahead and center that on my circle, stitch circle die. Give that a little pressure there to make sure that it's going to stick nicely. Also in your kit, you're going to have one of the hoops. You know, I've been using these in a lot of kits. It's a gorgeous addition, I think, to any holiday card, and I just love it with these doves. So I have found the best way to adhere this down is kind of keep in mind what you're going to be attaching over the top of it. And wherever you're going to attach something over the top, like the dove, like my sentiment here, and even this little branch comes out over here, that is where I'm going to place a glue dot. I'm going to take my paper piercer tool and come over here, and I'm just going to place a flat glue dot right behind that gold hoop. Now, they're not heavy. They don't need, you know, a huge amount of adhesive to hold them in place. Usually 1 or 2 glue dots will do. But I left them nice and flat so that it's laying nice and flat, and that should be enough to hold it in place. Okay? All right, so let's start building. We're going to take our Peace, Joy, Love here, and I am going to go ahead and just trim off my extras here, off the ends. That one I didn't get very straight. I'm going to trim it again there. Okay. And then our little gold sprig, I think, is the first thing we're going to attach here. I'm going to take and put a little bit of multi-purpose glue down here towards the bottom. Just on those first 2 or 3 little branches. And then I'm going to take and just gently lay that in here, kind of up a little above. I want my gold hoop to show, so I just changed my mind a little bit. Even if you wanted that first little bit there of the branch to go under your hoop to help hold it a little bit better, you certainly could do that, okay? Go ahead and press and hold that because, again, that's sticking to some of that textured Pool Party there, okay? So really give it a chance to grab hold. And now your little twig or branch here, I'm going to go ahead and just trim a little bit of that off because it ends up being just a little bit long for this project. And I'm just going to apply a little bit of adhesive down there on the stem, okay? And that one is going to get layered kind of right at the same tip as that gold one there and come on out, okay? Just like that. Isn't that pretty? All right, now next, let's go ahead and do, I think I'm going to wait and do our dove last because that one kind of overhangs a lot onto our base card, and I want to make sure that that is aligned just perfectly. And the same for our sentiment. I want to make sure that that is aligned perfectly. So I'm going to wait and apply those here after I have the rest of my base card put together, okay? All right, so also in your kit, you will have a strip of Pool Party cardstock, okay? And that strip is going to coordinate with a piece of the, I keep wanting to say flourish, plush, the plush poinsettia vellum specialty paper. Isn't this just gorgeous paper? Now, like vellum in the past, we need to be very careful how we adhere this to our card. So I'm going to take my multi-purpose glue, but when I come in here, I'm only going to apply a little dot strategically where there is some of the flocked or plush white on the other side, okay? Because that's going to allow that to be hidden back behind, all right? So obviously your little narrow piece of that is going to coordinate beautifully with your little narrow strip of Pool Party. Then you're going to have another larger piece of the plush poinsettia. I think I'm saying that right. I just have enjoyed this paper a lot. I'm just going to apply some more little dots strategically, like I said, behind something that's flocked there. It doesn't take a lot. And then that's going to get placed here on the top section of your card. And with both sections, you should have about 1/4 of an inch around, okay? Go ahead and give that a press firm. Make sure that those are sticking nicely, okay? Just like that. All right, now I think we are ready to attach our circle, okay? Before you attach your circle, kind of eyeball it here, what you want to be top, bottom, exactly where you want it to be, okay? And I'm kind of looking at my glue dot there. My dove's going to come cover that, and then my sentiment's going to come out here and cover that, okay? So you want this bottom piece to be flush against the base of the card down here, okay? We're going to take nope, we're not going to use dimensionals. I'm changing my mind. We're going to use multi-purpose glue because I really want this to stick on this plush paper, poinsettia paper, okay? So again, I'm just kind of eyeballing exactly where this is go. I don't want my sprig to overhang here, but I want enough on my right side here so that my sentiment will not overhang. And I think I'm pretty safe right there, okay? So I'm just going to kind of eyeball this, and I'm only going to put multi-purpose glue on this section of my stitched Whisper White circle and on this section down here, okay? I'm going to flip that over. A little bit of multi-purpose glue there and a little bit there. Remember, it's pretty strong glue, so it doesn't take much. When I go to attach this, again, I want to make sure that my bottom section is flush around my bottom corners down there. And then I'm going to go ahead and just place this on here like this. Okay. Go ahead and press, because again, you're against all that texture, so you want to make sure that that Whisper White piece actually sticks nicely. Okay. And now we can go ahead and we can attach our dove. The dove is actually going to straddle the hoop a little bit, so I'm going to put a dimensional right here near its breast and then one out here on the wing, okay? There you go. And position that like you want it. Okay, and again, that helps kind of hold that gold hoop in place a little better. And now we're ready for our sentiment. Our sentiment is going to cover up where our branches came in here, but I also do not want it to overhang the right side of my card here, okay? I also don't want any adhesive from here over, because that's just going to be hanging out there. I only want dimensionals here and here, okay? But I will use 2 dimensionals because I think it needs that much stability. Okay, so make sure I have the right end. I do. I'm going to place one at the far end and then one not too far from it, kind of close there. And then you're going to take and place that right over the top. And I did try to make mine kind of flush with the edge of the card, but you don't have to. If you wanted it in just a little bit, that would be beautiful too, okay? All right, there you go. Now, it needs a little bit of bling. It needs a little bit of an embellishment, I think, other than the gold hoop. Let me tell you, when I first started making this card, with Pool Party, I always think of silver. And I think this gold ended up looking stunning with Pool Party and the white. So very plain and simple, but I think it made a very, very elegant holiday card. So in this kit, you'll also receive another small piece of that shimmer gold ribbon. And again, you're just going to tie yourself a little knot, trim off the ends, and use your glue dots here to attach it right there in the middle over that knot. And it can be attached just right down here at the base. Right there. Okay. Play with it a little bit to get it to go exactly like you like it or want it. If your ends aren't cooperating, remember you can always take and sneak a glue dot underneath those so that they would hang down exactly like you want them. And again, because I used the champagne rhinestones in the first card with this kit, I was like, oh, they would look gorgeous on this card. So I went ahead and I took some more of the small ones with my paper piercer, and because there's a little dot between the peace, joy, and love, I went ahead and added those over those dots. So much prettier than just those black dots. And then just because you should do things odd, and because there's a little berry on this sprig that the dove is carrying, I decided to pop another one up there, okay? So your kit will also have the champagne rhinestones to be able to use. Just beautiful, and I love that. Be beautiful up on a mantle. It's just a neat, fun fold. All right, so let me pull these class cards in again. There's that one. And then there's this one here. Okay. Remember to stamp on your envelopes too. You'll have the stamps in this set, so there'll be no reason not to. First impression when they get their card and before they open it is very important. So I just love this little stamp set. I think that these doves are absolutely stunning and would make just not only Christmas cards, but also any occasion cards that you have coming forward to make. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you decide to pick this up. I don't think you will regret that. And again, as always, if you have any special requests, never hesitate to contact me. I hope all of you are staying well and healthy. And thank you for your time today, and take care.